speaking of Apple, our next guest just increased his stake in it, even as everyone else has been backing away, and says he'll keep buying if the selling continues. Let's talk to Keith Fitz-Gerald, Fitz-Gerald Group's principal. Keith, it's good to see you again. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me back. It's a pleasure.
Unbridled enthusiasm for Apple here.
I think this is a golden opportunity. I mean, both of your former guests are obviously extremely intelligent guys. They know their stuff, and I respect their opinions. But I don't think we're living on the same planet here. We're looking at Apple, and we're seeing a golden opportunity. You've got 240 million phones due for an upgrade. You got a sensor platform. You got 1 billion paid subscribers. You've got a business that is growing 30, 40, 50%. The services are sensory network worldwide at this point. They're getting into finance. This is the year they're going to hear AI and Apple in the same sentence. I mean, I just frankly don't get it. I'm perfectly happy to buy more shares here.
And when we talk about buying more shares, give us the case, Keith, that this isn't the moment that we look back on and say, nope, that was the year Apple matured. Its market cap never got back to where it once was, although I guess they could keep buying back stock and it would do just fine.
Well, look at it this way, Kelly. I mean, and just respectfully, let me push back. You know, people have been arguing with me for years saying, well, these big tech companies can't possibly get any bigger, can't possibly get any more popular, can't possibly get any more valuable. And that's exactly what they've done. You know, throughout all of the economic weakness, I haven't heard one person giving up their iPhone because the inflation is getting too high or they aren't skept. They're cutting back on their groceries, all these other things. The company has an MO that is proven and proven and proven. They come in, they wait, they watch, they let everybody do their thing, and then they come in with more panache, more cash, and a better consumer offering. I think, you know, again, a pullback like this, if you're talking about the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, fine. But over the next 3, 4, 5 years, I think you're going to shoot yourself in the foot.
What about some of the longer-term issues that Harsh raised in his sort of essay on the company? One is the not knowing about China and the competitive position in China for Apple, where they get 10% of their revenue. That's number one. Number two, the criticism that the company has not broken through with a new sort of form factor or breakthrough other than incremental improvements to the existing product, incremental improvements to the camera on their flagship, the iPhone.
Well, I think those are both very valid concerns. And let's tackle the second one first. So form factor, right? Do you hear consumers complaining about their iPhone? Because I don't. I'm perfectly happy, for example, personally, to carry mine. It's about the right size, about the right weight. It does what I need it to do. So I'm not begging to have a foldable phone or rolling phone or any kind of other thing like that. I just simply don't hear consumers talking about that. So to me, that's a false flag argument. The second one, talking about your criticism of the company and where it's going from here, those are very valid concerns. But again, this is a company that has a long distinguished history of watching competitors fight it out to be first in the space, learning from that experience, and then coming in and changing consumer behavior the way they do every single time they release a new product. I think we're going to see that again.
You also bought Microsoft, Palantir. I remember talking about NVIDIA last year, Keith. Where else?
Oh my goodness, well those are at the top of the leaderboard for sure, and I was fortunate enough to get that right because this is a super tough business, but I'm not giving up on any of those companies. I think they're all, again, within the context of what we've been discussing with Apple, Kelly. I think they are absolutely viable, must-have companies that people 4, 5, 10 years from now are going to kick themselves if they don't start accumulating on the buybacks.
And what about people, and maybe you're the perfect person to talk to about this, the valuation, NVIDIA, Microsoft, it's not that crazy. We're talking about, I don't know, around 30 times, but they've also been on historic runs. They're well-loved. Everyone owns them, and so on and so forth. So I don't know if you can just address that and the broader stumble we've had here to start the year, especially in the NASDAQ, if that worries you, or it sounds like it's just a buying opportunity.
Well, again, it's a buying opportunity, but you know, I don't take these moves. I'm not cavalier about this. We do our homework. I have a tremendous background in nonlinear science, and I was king of the propeller heads when I was growing up. But this is an interesting point you raise. Is it really expensive? Accounting regulations are set up to value manufacturing and hard goods. They don't recognize or capitalize digital expenditure and investment appropriately. So what you're seeing today is a shift in the way the world looks at these things. I would submit that accounting valuations, PE ratios, any of the classic metrics no longer apply because you cannot amortize or expense the digital expenditures because they don't come into the balance sheet or the P&L for several years into the future. That's very different than making a widget, than making a Peloton bike, than making an oil rig. So to me, this is an opportunity time. I'm less concerned with valuations than I am with growth.
All right. Keith, good to see you. We appreciate it today.
Thank you.
Keith Fitz-Gerald.
All right, coming up.
Hi, it's Keith here. Thanks for checking out today's highlight clip. What'd you think? Did I make sense? Is there something you'd like to add? Make sure you leave a comment down below, and of course, click subscribe to keep up right here on YouTube, or sign up for the email newsletter at the link below. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram for my real-time thoughts on markets, analysis, and a whole lot more.